Let's go, girls.
Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe.
Let's go! It's Women Talking Football, WTF. Not to be confused with WFT, which apparently is confusing to remember around here. But it is WTF. We are the women, a pair of producers for Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Dave Campbell's Texan Live. I am the executive producer, Ashley Pickle, sitting over there on her throne. It is the associate producer, Miss Mallory Hartley. How are you, Malpal?
Good. Good to see you guys. Happy to be here as always.
Happy to be here. Oh, you know what I thought about the other day? Quick
Ooh,
side note here.
Let's hear it.
I'm like dark over here. I'll just say I'm
You're
tan.
just tan.
Yeah.
Oh, same thought.
I thought about this the other day. We need to change your name. I need to let Rhonda know that we need to change your name to something that has EP as like your initials, because I would be AP, the EP,
Ooh.
Ashley Pickle, the executive producer.
Oh, and
you would be
EP,
the AP. So your MH is really like messing up a really cool bit.
What could I be? So I need to be EP. I need to be Elizabeth.
Eva.
Eva.
Patron. I don't.
Tequila.
No, that's a T. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, I thought about that the other day. I was like, oh yeah, because I think I wrote EP and AP out, and I was like, oh, AP are my initials, and I was like,
That would be so cool.
that would be so cool.
However, it doesn't even
However, it's not cool.
No, you can't even do that.
So anyway, I know Rhonda's in the comments.
She is.
So
She'll
I
say
just
something.
need to let her know. Oh, my Patrick Madrowski, our producer for Bally, is calling me. So Pimo, I'll have to get back with you on that. Anyway, we are Women Talking Football, WTF. We are here every Thursday at 2 talking football all across the state of Texas. And I don't know if you realize this, but we're like close. Like, we talk about how close football season is, and you look at the calendar, and you're like, we have like...
Oh, it's terrifying.
Legitimately. So we'll have tomorrow, and then we really have a week before we consider the football season being here. Like, I know that football doesn't technically kick off until Thursday the 25th.
Yes.
But, I mean, realistically, like, that Monday is when we start doing, like, all of our prep. Like, you'll be having a picks video to shoot and edit in literally a week. So that's what's crazy is you think like you look and it's like, oh, the 25th, that's a little while away, and then all of a sudden it's Monday the whatever that is, and it's like, oh god,
that's a little,
we gotta shoot a pics video.
I'm gonna choke on my water. That's a little scary.
It's like, here, whether you're ready or not, but no, we are super excited. And we've been going through all the regions of the state. So today we're going to the Concho Valley. We did the Brazos Valley last week. We're going to be moving on over to the Concho Valley in about 15-ish minutes, about 12 minutes at this point. We're going to have Miss Amy McDaniel on to talk with us about the Concho Valley. She's the associate manager and an MMJ out there in San Angelo for the San Angelo Standard Times. She is the brains of the operation down there, so we are incredibly excited to have her on. And then in the back third of the show, if you will, we will give you our breakdown on, again, what is considered the 3-2-5. We talked a little bit about that when we did the big country, because like Sweetwater and like all that stuff, but Abilene, but San Angelo is like the greatest part of the Concho Valley, and that's all the 3-2-5 too. So like the 3-2-5 is very encompassing. So we're doing like the second half of the 3-2-5, if you will.
Yes.
But before then, in preparation for what we talked about earlier of football season quickly approaching, we actually just flew back in yesterday morning
at
from
6:20.
H10. Hold it down.
H10. Oh, also, what did our elevator say?
Oh, yeah.
Going down. H10. And I'm like, that's just on brand for this trip, isn't it?
It really is. Because, yeah, every time I tweet out that Family Guy or I don't even know, King of the Hill, maybe? I think it's King of the Hill.
Yeah, I think
it originates, honestly.
I think it's King of the Hill.
Yeah, it says H10, hold it down. And, yeah, we get in our elevator at the hotel in H10, and she was like, "Gun done." We were like, "We're holding it down."
Yeah, the main reason we went down there is because we had a Texan Live kickoff event where all of our broadcasters and camera people came, and we got to meet them face to face because I had met most of them before, at least in person. So I got to actually put a face to a name, you know, and get to meet them and stuff like that. But we did lots of other things too. When we were there,
we went to the boardwalk.
That
was fun. That was like a non-work thing that we did.
We did, yeah.
We did a lot of work stuff. We got to go visit. We'll start with the work stuff, and then we'll tell you about like
non-work
the fun stuff that we did after that. But yeah, it was a fantastic event. We started doing that last year, and we're gonna make it an annual thing where we go down. And for those of you who don't know, we're not just with Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We're with Dave Campbell's Texan Live as well. We acquired a broadcast company about I guess we're going on 2 years now. But they were primarily based out of Southeast Texas, all down there in the Houston area. Since we acquired them, we have gone from Houston up to Austin. Dre Matula is our guy down there at the Austin branch. He's taking over that. And then we're just working our way up 35. So we have a ton of really awesome independent school districts that we partner with, and we cover all of their games, whether it be football, volleyball. We have volleyball live right now. The John Turner Classic's going on. So if you want to see what TexanLive.com has to offer, please go check that out for the next 3 days. They're covering volleyball from, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's a full 12 hours.
8 different courts. So there's 36 hours, basically, of volleyball going on Texan Live for the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and then championship Saturday. So if you're just itching for any kind of high school sports, please go there. You can become a Texan Live subscriber, and it's basically a YouTube model, or a Netflix model, where when you click on it, when you subscribe, you get every single game, and we do around 1,300 games per year of all different sports.
You never run out of content.
No, basically. Absolutely not. It's constant. So we highly encourage you to go check out TexanLive.com. But we got all of our guys and a couple girls down there. One girl, Cameron, was the only girl that showed up to the kickoff. Shout out Cameron. But it was a great time, and it's really fun. Like you said, we talk to these guys year round, and we hear their voices on the calls and stuff, but we never get to really go see them. So to just be able and hang out with them. We also got to go visit our good friends out of the city of Katy. They're a proud supporter of Dave Campbell's Texan Live literally since day one. So that was I took a picture of Mallory in front of like the city of Katy water tower. It was a really good little picture.
Yeah, it was. It was cute. We posted it on Twitter and said, hey, thanks to our friends at City of Katy for being so great. And, we got some good stuff out of it. So. Yeah.
And then we got to go visit the Texan Live offices, and we did a ton of other stuff while we were there, but we did have a little bit of fun. We got down there Sunday. And then
I guess it was Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday because we we got we have the swag wagon. A lot of Dave Campbell's followers know that. It's our Ford Flex that we drive around that looks
cute.
Yeah, she looks like a Texas flag.
She does.
But we got a Dave Campbell's Texan Live truck so that the guys can use it down there. And
big old Ford F-150.
So Mallory and I drive down the Ford F-150, and the funny story here is Sunday we're going to have like a truck cover over the bed of it.
Yeah.
We don't have that in yet, so we're driving down 45, and we've got magazines and then our suitcases in the back. And all of a sudden, we hit one of the normal Houston pocket rain showers. I think we got like right around the Conroe area, and we just stop and go, oh no, the magazines.
Well, the funniest part was that neither of us really registered the rain at first because we haven't
seen rain up here in like 60 days.
Right. And so when it started raining, both of us were just kind of like, oh, it's raining.
Wow,
whatever.
Look, what is this water falling out of the sky?
Exactly. And then all of a sudden you gasp, and I'm like, what? And you're like, the magazines, the suitcases, the Kramer equipment in the back. And I was like, oh my gosh, we got up. So we pulled over into this little dirt road out of the middle of nowhere. And we're just and the thing about this truck is that it's got an extra long bed. So there's only the front cabin of the truck.
It's three. It's a single cab. Yeah.
So we didn't have a back seat. So we're stuffing magazines.
Like behind the seats, under the seats. Yeah. We're trying not to get all like completely rained on. Yeah. So if you pass by us, like two deranged looking women on 45 shoving magazines, that was us.
And then I had to hold my suitcase in my lap the whole time. But not the whole time. It was like 1 hour that we had left in the trip. But Besides that, it was a
So
good
that
trip
was
down.
comical.
It was a good trip down.
Yeah, looking forward to getting the back cover of that on the truck. The truck will be fantastic, but we just don't have that cover in yet. We know all about supply chain issues here, so we're just waiting for that to come in. But the one like big fun thing that we did, was it Monday night?
Yes, it was.
Monday night, we got done with. We had been working all day, and then we had like our all staff meeting that we always have here at Dave Campbell's. We called in, and then we looked and we were like, you know what? We are 45 minutes away from the beach. We're going to drive 45 minutes to the beach. So we did that, and then we were at the beach for about 2 hours that evening, and then we went over to the Kemah Boardwalk in Kemah, Texas.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, if you guys haven't gone, you guys got to get down there and go to the Kemah Boardwalk. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know Pleasure Pier. That's the boardwalk in Galveston. Mm-hmm. This one's better. It's got roller coasters. It's got a Ferris wheel. It's got it's got a guy who juggles fire.
That was cool.
It was really cool, but you guys got to get down there.
Yeah, so our favorite ride at the Kemah Boardwalk was the Boardwalk Bullet. It is a wooden roller coaster, and that thing's got some go to it. It's not just like up and down and like one loop to it. I mean, it got some go to it.
And of course, us being us, we don't sit anywhere but the front.
Yeah, so we waited extra long.
So we waited extra. It was like an extra 10 minutes that we waited because there was not very many people there. It's a Monday night. School's already started. Nobody was there. But we're sitting there and we're going up the hill, just kind of laughing. You know, we're going up the first initial hill that you get to the top, and we're like sitting there like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. You know, we both have our clips in our hair because we wanted to pull it back. We go down the first one, and this thing just takes off like a bullet. I'm not even kidding.
It's called the Boardwalk Bullet.
It's called the Boardwalk Bullet for a reason. And we both look at each other, and we're like, oh my God. And our clips are just, our hair is flying everywhere. The clip is at the bottom of our hair. I did not expect that thing to be as fast and as powerful as...
It was great.
It was for a little boardwalk.
Well, I was going to say, and it was like, I've got something in my eye here, so allow me to just like pick this thing out of my eye. Anyway, but yeah, no, it really did. It had some go to it. I mean, you were going around and you're right there on the beach. And so anyway, we got a lot of work done. It was great to see everyone down there at all of our Texan Live guys. But we also had some fun because that's what we do. And I mean, realistically, we're like, well, if we were here, we would have just gone home anyways.
Yeah,
so
I know. Exactly.
We might as well go to the boardwalk. We ate at Scallywags.
We ate at Scallywags on...
I had a shrimp po' boy.
Oh, yeah. What did I have? I had a fish sandwich.
Yeah, Yellowtail.
It was really good. And then on Sunday night, we went to this place called Maxie's.
Yeah, I think it's actually like Mahis.
Yes.
Is how you would say it. It's Maxis.
Yeah. But it was a seafood and Mexican restaurant cuisine. It was like mixed together. And boy, when I tell you, if you're down in Houston, or I guess maybe more of the
Aldine
area, you guys got to go. It's so good.
Yeah,
so
it was fantastic because we got chips and salsa for an appetizer, and then they bring out like your seafood that you order, but then your seafood also comes with like fried rice. So it was like
awesome.
This hodgepodge of food, but it was absolutely fantastic. And they had a like live they had live music too, which was just fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was
trip,
awesome.
I gotta say, this trip was really a 10 out of 10.
It really was.
It was
like we crossed everything that we could have wanted off the list.
Yeah, exactly. Except the rain on Sunday on the way down there. Like, this was a perfect trip.
Yeah, it really was. So yeah, we are geared up and amped up for another season with Dave Campbell's Texan Live. We'll have tons and tons of content. So if you like football, we'll have plenty of that. If you like other sports, we also have that. Anything from swimming and diving to volleyball to soccer to softball to baseball. I mean, everything on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. So go to texanlive.com to become a subscriber, and you will have year-round high school content, including starting this weekend, broadcasting the John Turner Classic. So shout out to Jesse Wolf and Trevor Bolliard, our guys down in Houston, for getting that going. But before we are joined by Miss Amy McDaniel down there in the Concho Valley, let's go ahead and hear a word from our sponsors at VCR Now. Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. We are continuing our regional outlooks here on WTF Women Talking Football. Ashley Pickle and Mallory Hartley, but we're not the only women on this show today. Today we're going to be looking at the Concho Valley down there in the greater 325 region, and who else would we bring on other than Miss Amy McDaniel, who is down there with the San Angelo Standard at times. Amy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How
How's it
are
going,
you?
Ashley?
Good to have you on. We're going to start off the same way here that we've been doing with everyone. We love to give people the opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself. We know that you're the queen down there in the Concho Valley. So just give us a quick elevator pitch on how you made it down there to the San Angelo Standard Times.
Ha ha. Yeah, bow to the queen, everybody. No, well, I grew up in this area. I grew up in a little town called Mertzen and went to school at Angelo State and learned journalism from Angelo State, but also got to work at the Standard Times when I was 18, 19, 20 years old. And that was a great education. And then I went and worked in Midland, and then I quit working in the sports business for a while and had some kids. And I've been back at the Standard Times. This will be going on my 8th football season.
What was it like, I mean, to be able to step away for a little bit, but then to come back and realize, I mean, I can only imagine that there was that pull of seeing, high school football or really anything down there being covered and going, man, I miss doing it.
Yeah, I really did. I didn't realize how much I missed it and until I kind of got back into it. And especially now, going on my 8th year, golly, I mean, I've really gotten to have a relationship with a lot of these coaches. Year by year, I call them and talk to them. And, we get past the whole, stage of, I don't really know you, you don't know me. Mm-hmm. And we can get right down to talking about football and those kids. I've seen a lot of kids graduate now, and that's been fun. And so, it's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of those teams and the fun that is to be had there in the Concho Valley. Obviously, when you look up at the larger scale schools in San Angelo Central, a little bit of struggling times there, it seems, for them. But when you get down to the small school, I mean, you've got some teams that can really turn on the Jets and can really compete down there in the Concho Valley. When you take a look at the teams this year and what people are bringing back, what are kind of those main stories and things that people across the state of Texas should be looking out for when they think of the Concho Valley?
Well, we've got several teams that are ranked in y'all's preseason rankings. Wall's number 18 in 3A Division II. They're moving down. They've been a Division I team for a long time. Christoval is moving up from 2A Division II into 2A Division I, and that'll be interesting. They've had a very solid few years under Casey Otho, and they're number 17. And Coleman is very good. They're a top 10 team, number 9, and we kind of share those with the Blue Caps with Abilene area. But then Mason is always good. They're number 13. And then El Dorado is very good. They're number 18. They're coming off one of their best seasons ever in a long time, like 71 years or something like that.
Wow.
2A Division II. And then, of course, 1A football is huge in this area. And we've got 2 teams in the top 10. Garden City out there almost close to Midland, and then Erie County, my alma mater. So
Oh, too cool. I didn't realize you went out there.
yeah. So I grew up in a little school. They actually didn't play 6-man football when I was going to school
Uh-huh.
there. I was there
Interesting.
during the 11-man era. So anyway.
Amy, you talk about all of the teams that you just said, all the 1A ranked teams. What's a team this year that you think is going to be a little bit slept on at first, but it's really going to really pop out maybe during the season a little bit?
Well, that's a real good question. I like Menard. They're making a jump to 6-man. And so they're a little unknown, but they've got a lot of great tradition there, and I'm excited about their head coach. He's a young guy who knows how to win in the 6-man football, and so that ought to be interesting to watch. His name's Bryson Oliver. And then let's see, I'm just kind of going through this list. That district that Sonora and Cristobal are in, that is a real toss-up district.
Yep.
I think y'all picked Cristobal, but and I would be fine with Cristobal. I went with Sonora because I don't know. It, like I said, it's kind of a coin flip type deal, and they're a district champ moving down. So how can you sleep on Sonora? You know, and so it's going to be a real interesting. I think I'm going to Cristobal week 1. So
nice.
So I'll get a good look at them. I'm not sure when I'll be covering Sonora. It'll be soon, I'm sure. So anyway, that's going to be a real interesting district, and I really have no idea. Reagan County in that same district, I think, is also
right.
They're moving down. They've got some really, really fine athletes, and they won a district championship in basketball. They have a nice baseball program. They did well in track. And Forsan is good in that district. I think I wouldn't be surprised with any one of those being the district champ, to be quite honest.
Well, and it's funny that you bring that up because, yeah, exactly. When you look at District 3 in that 2A Division 1 scale, like you said, you have Cristobal, Sonora, Ozona, Reagan County. And it's funny because, as you mentioned, Cristobal, obviously a move up from 2A Division 2, but then you look at Reagan County and Ozona, drop downs from 3A. When realignment hit earlier in February, were you taken aback by how much movement? I mean, obviously, throughout the entire Concho Valley, there's quite a few teams that have moved up and down, but specifically in that District 3, it was almost just, hey, here's the hodgepodge district, let's put them all in one. Was that surprising to you at all?
Well, it really was because, of course, that time of year I'm wallowing in basketball and everything. And, of course, I know realignment is coming up, and we've already done the snapshot in December and all that kind of stuff. But, like, for instance, Ozona, we were kind of worried about them moving up to 3A. I mean, I was personally worried for them because I just think that would have been real tough for them. They would have been one of the smallest schools in 3A. And I hadn't put together these districts. I hadn't done any projections on. The coaches are real big into that, but I was worried about basketball at the time. So I was surprised. And it's an interesting mix. And, I didn't like having to pick that district, to be quite honest. I told my editor, I said, you hold that list for a while. I'm not letting that go yet. So
that's too good. So you mentioned a couple of the players earlier, but going through and taking a look, I mean, I know Wall's got Nathan Pepper back, and there's plenty of other players down there in the Concho Valley, but which players do you think are really going to have a chance to put their name on a stage for all of Texas to really take notice?
Well, Coleman just has a lot of returning kids that were so good last year. They put up a lot of points, and you're typing up the little results and things like that, and you're like, oh, let's look at this kid. Oh, wow, sophomore. Okay. Wow, another sophomore. Wow, a junior, and so they were some of the top kids on we did top 10 position lists for every position. We even had an underrated list. And so, Coleman was near the top at a lot of that. And so you've got, I don't have their roster in front of me, and now I'm blanking on their names, but Ryland Gentry, he's there, he was the MVP of that district, and he's a top linebacker, running back. And, but then their quarterback is good. They've got just excellent player. They've got another great linebacker. And so anyway, so I think they're going to be really good. Let's see. I don't know. I like. I'm interested to see what San Angelo Central will do in that district. That 2-6A district with Permian and Legacy and all those. I don't think that they can compete for a district title, but they won a district track championship for the first time in since 1996.
Oh wow!
And so I'm real excited to see Coach Crane's second year there, and some of those kids back. Tyler Hill is the quarterback there, and he had he played all last year, and so that always looks good. Always is good to have a second year man at quarterback. So
for sure, Amy, let's talk matchups a little bit. Which matchup are you most excited to see this year? I know one of mine comes to mind, so I'll let you know which one of those is mine. But what matchup are you most excited to see this coming season?
Well, I probably have two of them. I think Sonora Cristobal. I mean, that's going to be big. I don't know. I take that back. Early Wall is going to be big too.
Yes,
but
for sure.
Sonora Cristobal, and then Erie County and Menard. Erie County just went 6-man just a few years ago, and now here's Menard going. And so, I just think it's be real interesting because they both got high, pretty good numbers in their programs. And so those two games I think are going to be good.
I'm excited for Mason and Cristobal. That's one of my favorite matchups of the Concho Valley this coming season.
That's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see that one because, of course, those teams just
brand new.
Don't play each other very much at all.
For sure.
Cristobal was a 6-man team for a long, long time. Long time.
Right.
And then Mason, I don't think they ever played 6-man, even though they might have had small numbers, but they've just always played 11-man. So.
Right.
No doubt. And then okay, I got to ask you. So obviously you said you went to Erie County. Is it difficult for you not to show a tad bit of favoritism when you go? Obviously, you're a great journalist, but I know very well I graduated from Llano that I'll hold up the Stingham every now and then.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's funny because one of the coaches at Erie County is actually I say kid. He's almost my age. He went to school at Bront, and which is just a few miles north of San Angelo. And so I've known him all my life, and he was a great athlete for Bront. And so I don't know. I have an interesting relationship with them in terms of just I see them quite a bit. But no, I think I can be impartial because I don't know. I think it's probably because I'm 53 years old, and and they're not my buddies anymore. You know what I mean? So.
No doubt. And then finally, we have Miss Amy McDaniel from the San Angelo Standard-Times on the phone with us. We've got to ask you, and I'm going to kick myself for not looking this up beforehand, but I know there's always a constant debate on which Mexican food place in San Angelo's is better. I know one of them is Hidalgo's. What is the other one?
Well, there's actually 3 that I really love.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear it.
And then there's Henry's, which a lot of people love, and I love both of these.
Is that the one with the chicken fried steak?
Fuentes downtown is the Standard Times. That's kind of where we've always had our lunches and things like that. So,
all right. So a new player being added in. Is Henry's the one with the chicken fried steak, or am I going crazy?
No, that's the one. The chicken fried steak and their gravy is unique.
Is yellow, right?
Yellowy.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They use some kind of different broth or something to it.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, now there's been a third player added. So there you go. Dropping some bombs here on WTF. It is Miss Amy McDaniel out there with the San Angelo Standard-Times. Amy, thank you so much for hopping on, and we hope that we're able to make a game down there in the Concho Valley this year to come say hi.
Oh, I would love to see that, and I've enjoyed listening to y'all, and, keep up the good work.
Thanks, you. Amy. There she goes. It is Amy McDaniel with the San Angelo Standard-Times. Like we said, the queen down there in the Concho Valley. She's been doing it for years, and like she said, growing up there too, how cool is it to get to go be in your backyard like that? I think that's awesome.
It's got to be special to be able to cover, your own team and stuff every once in a while. I always liked doing that when I got to go to an Arlington Martin game.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was, you've covered a Llano game for Bally Sports Southwest a couple times.
Yeah, that was
just really
that was the
cool.
most special thing.
It is. It's really cool.
And to get to do that week in and week out. But we definitely appreciate Amy for hopping on and joining us. Again, we are Women Talking Football, WTF, here under the Dave Campbell's Texas Football umbrella. You can see all of our work at texasfootball.com and wherever you're watching right now, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We also want to remind you that we are up on all podcasts we should be. We're on Apple Podcast, we're on Spotify, and we are on Google Podcasts now. For all of you green bubble people, you can now see us on Matt's up on Google Podcast. So we hope that if you're not watching it live, that you will listen and subscribe to those on the podcast vendor of your choice. All right, so we heard Miss Amy McDaniel's take on her area down there in the 325, the greater 325, the Concho Valley. Let's move on into what we think of them here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Like we said, we've been going through each region of the state. We will continue to do that all season long. But we have pulled the numbers, and we have in our 21 different regions, we have 24 teams listed in the Concho Valley. Now, she talked a lot about Coleman, the Blue Cats.
Yeah.
We technically put them in the big country, and she said that. She says, we share them with Abilene. It kind of depends on, if numbers start dwindling for the Concho Valley, they're going to go ahead and go over to those Coleman games, that kind of stuff. Coleman is a perennial powerhouse program, so that's probably another reason why they're like, that's close enough to go cover.
We're just going to consider them as a, for sure.
Exactly. So 24 total teams that we have listed in the Concho Valley. Of those 24, 6 of them are ranked. That is exactly spot on. 25% of the Concho Valley ranked in our preseason top 25. So we'll go ahead and let's go through those 6 ranked teams here. And we're going to start off in 3A Division 2. That's the largest classification in the Concho Valley that we have with a ranked team. Now, you'll go back and you'll remember that there are 6A San Angelo Central. There's 4A Division 1 San Angelo Lakeview. But the next largest classification, there is no 5A and there is no 4A Division 2. There is no 3A Division 1. The next classification is 3 Division 2. And there you will find number 18, the Wall Hawks. Moving down to 2A Division 1, it is the Punchers out of Mason coming in at number 13 in 2A Division 1. And then, shortly behind them, you'll see the team that Amy is very high on in the Cristobal Cougars down there at number 17. They are a move up from 2A Division 2. So that's where they were at last year. They've moved up, yet we still think they are good enough to be ranked in the preseason top 25, which is not easy to do.
No, not at all. And these two teams are going to play each other too, week 4 of the season. So that's why I said, keep an eye on this matchup because it's gonna be a really good one. My brother's starting to come out at me. He says that all the time. He's like, hey, look at this. And I'm like, hey, look at this matchup right here. It's going to be a good one. 13, 17 preseason ranked teams.
Oh my God, that's the best breakdown I've ever heard. They play week 4. I gotta catch my breath after that. That was that caught me so off guard.
Hey, can I express it anymore? I said it to Amy. I'm saying it now.
If you don't go to that game, I'm gonna call you the biggest fraud because
you've been week 4. What am I doing week 4? I'll go. Don't worry.
All right. Whew. Catching our breath now and moving on to the rest of the ranked teams in the Concho Valley. And look at that. 2A Division 2. We have number 18 in El Dorado. Then we go down to the 6-man ball, and it is the alma mater of Miss Amy McDaniel, and that is number 10, Erie County. And then down in the smallest classification in the UIL 1A Division 2, you will find Rochelle ranked at number 15. So of the 24 teams, those are the 6 ranked teams. I'll go ahead and, since there's only 24 teams, I'll read through the rest of them just in case you're curious. I mentioned both San Angelo schools. The Central in 6A, 4A Division 1 is Lakeview. Then the other teams in 3A Division 2, you have Brady, San Angelo Grapevine Creek, and San Angelo TLCA. Going down to 2A Division 1, we talked about Cristobal, and then their district bunkmates Ozona, Reagan County, and Sonora. And then in 14, 2A Division 1, you'll see Junction and Mason. Then 2A Division 2, El Dorado, Sterling City, and Water Valley. move up from 6-man last year. 1A Division 1, you have Eden, Erie County, Menard, Robert Lee, and Verabest. And then in 1A Division 2, you have the aforementioned Brat, Paint Rock, Lone. I think it's Lone. I asked Tepper how to say that again. I'm sorry. Lohn.
It sounds like Lone.
Yeah, I asked Tepper yesterday, and he told me, and now I can't remember.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then the number 5th ranked Rochelle Hornets. So those are the 24 teams that we have listed in the Concho Valley. Like we said, they like to kind of go back and forth a little bit with the Abilene area. They're both 325 greater areas. So there is that. Moving on now to our player expert, coordinator of vibes. I'm going to figure out something eventually, or I'm just going to keep rambling on about something with vibes. Mallory Hartley for our Concho Valley players to watch.
Just that girl that talks about players all the time.
Vibes.
Player
Nothing but vibes.
All right, let's move on to players to watch in the Concho Valley. We'll throw up this graphic here.
Yo!
Let's start off strong with Wall defensive back Nathan Pepper, man. But for real, though, this dude's the real deal. He is our District 2 3A Division 2 preseason defensive MVP. This dude's crazy fast with an eye for the ball. He runs a 4.6 40-yard dash. So
Not bad.
That's pretty fast for
Not
high school.
bad.
And in a lower classification, too. He really can spot the ball with ease and will probably be a threat to any team that he's playing. And then I think I said Wall's got 10 defensive returning starters.
Yeah.
So that'll take the pressure off of Pepper a little bit. So he'll be able to step up in a bigger way.
Yeah. No, he's definitely kind of the key cog of that defense. But yeah, Wall's defense should be nasty this year, but Pepper will definitely be leading it. I genuinely wonder if Tepper is aware that Pepper is there, because usually that's what people get his name confused with.
Let's see. We'll quiz him. I wonder if he's watching. We'll see.
Probably not.
We'll,
Hi, Tep. And Pep. Tep and Pep.
Tep and Pep. Oh,
Shout out
if
Nathan
only
Pepper.
Step it would. Well, I guess Step works too. Tep and Step.
A lot of
Anyways.
peas.
Anyway, moving on to, we've mentioned them enough, Cristobal running back Catcher Joyner. He is our District 3 2A Division 1 preseason offensive MVP. He's pretty big for a 2A running back.
Yeah.
He's 5'10", 220 pounds. Yeah, he's a tank.
a load.
He's a tank, and when I pulled up some of his stats on Huddle, he's just mowing down people. Like, you can't pull him down.
No, he's huge. Like, straight up, he's huge.
Yeah.
And that's,
Big for a 2A.
That's big for realistically
it's
anything.
true, yeah.
I mean, so height-wise, he's not incredibly tall, but even for a running back, I mean, a high
For a
school
running back, I feel like
5'10"
that's
is
pretty average.
stinking big, but it's the 220 he is.
Yeah,
He's kind of
he's
like
big.
an immovable force there. But Catcher Joyner will be an absolute name to know, especially when we talk about that, and we'll talk about it a little later on, but that District 3 2A Division 1, which we're incredibly high on, he'll be quite the player to watch out for.
Yep. Moving on down, Sonora running back Hunter O'Bannon. He's our District 3 2A Division 1 preseason defensive MVP. He put up a lot of big numbers last year. He missed a couple of games due to an injury, but now that word is that he's fully healthy and he's coming back to play for the rest of his high school career. And so they're going to rely really heavily on him this year. Also, Sonora has got a really young offensive line.
Yeah.
So hopefully him being such a big guy will take the pressure off of that offensive line just a little bit.
Yeah, like you mentioned, he missed basically an entire month last year from that injury. But yeah, everything that I've heard as well says that he's back up to full health. And so, yeah, seeing the two of them go off against each other too, because like we mentioned, Sonora and Cristobal are both in the same district. That'll be incredibly exciting. But Hunter O'Bannon, he's going to be the thing that makes that defense go there for Sonora.
Up next, probably one of the best defensive linemen in West Texas, El Dorado defensive lineman Sam Griffin. He's on our 2A preseason All-State team. He's got a knack for just getting in the backfield and getting at that quarterback. They're going to have a stout defensive line with Griffin really being the anchor for them this year.
No doubt.
Moving on down to
Irian.
For some reason, it's just one of those names that I can't get down.
Well, because I
right
always
off
want
the
to
bat.
say, I want to say iron, and then I'm like, there's another
there's
I.
another I. Yeah, but it's clear here, Erie County. I got two players on here to watch, but we'll start off with quarterback Trevin Koffel. Fun fact about this guy.
All right.
I was reading about him.
And here with a fun fact.
Here we go. He recently, in July, won the tie-down roping average title at the Texas FFA Rodeo.
Let's go. Future farmers of America, baby. Stand up, Erie County.
And I mentioned this because if you remember, he's a quarterback. Which speaks to his quick release and his accuracy.
Let's go. Look at City Girl Valerie Hartley talking about roping and comparing it. Man, that's like analogy gold there.
Oh, I know. That's
proud
what I'm saying.
of you.
Well, I saw that and I was like, well, I got to see this dude's film and see if that kind of translates. And it does. It translates perfectly. He's our 1A preseason. He's on our 1A preseason All-State team. He's the District 13 1A Division 1 preseason offensive MVP. They're also going to have a lot of size up front too, to protect Koffel. So he'll be able to throw the ball down deep, which will speak to our wide receiver here in a minute.
Dude, my Lano heart is so stinking proud of you right now.
Oh, thanks.
Look at you.
It's funny. I actually asked Ish if he knew what it was, and he was like, no.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was
not.
like, you know what I bet it is? I bet it's when they rope the cow and they like try and tie it up. And then I looked at images, and that's right.
Yep. Good job.
Thanks.
Good
Appreciate
job.
that. But speaking of our wide receiver, we've got Erie County wide receiver Bo Morrow on our players to watch in the Concho Valley. He is also on our 1A preseason All-State team. This dude is really a deep threat on offense. Like I mentioned earlier, Erie County just has a big offensive line, so that's going to give a ton of time to Koffel to throw down deep to Morrow.
Yeah, those two are, it's like, oh gosh darn it. I totally had an analogy and I lost it. I think I'm still like roped up in the fact that you were so good with that. But no, seriously, this is a pair that will be able to go long on people, and that's something that's incredibly beneficial when you get down to 6-man ball like this. Being able to create that space, and if you just have a kid that's bigger than someone, if you have a good sized wide receiver and a quarterback that can get him the ball, then you're in good shape, and that's why they're ranked number 10.
Yeah, this pair is going to be the ones that other teams are going to watch the most tape of because they're going to be a deep threat. And lastly, on our list of players to watch from the Concho Valley, we got Eden linebacker Jesus Morales. He is our District 13 1A Division 1 preseason defensive MVP. He's quick. He puts immense pressure on the cornerback, and he's going to probably provide a lot of senior leadership for this team this year because Eden lost a lot of starters to graduation from last year, so they're going to really count on him and a couple others to step up and take that leadership role.
Yeah, it seems like we've been talking a lot about quite a few of these teams having a lot of returning, and Eden was definitely the one that they're going to have to kind of start over there. But having Jesus there, especially to put some pressure, that'll be huge for them.
Yep.
So there it is. Vibes.
There you go. There's your players to watch in the Concho Valley region. We mentioned a lot of those teams already, but we're about to mention a lot more.
Yeah, so let's go ahead, and we've created 3 different kind of key notes that we think that you should be paying attention to. We'll start off with the first one being New Year.
Same focal points.
Same focal points. And it's funny because I typed this headline with something completely opposite in mind and sent it to Mallory, and she has a different thing. So we're actually going to give you we're going to break this into 2 parts. So mine was, I don't care how long it's been or what season they had last year. To me, when I think of the Concho Valley, the 2 focal points I always think about is Wall and Mason. You heard Amy say it earlier. I grew up in Llano, and we played both of these teams. Mason is the town next to Llano. And then Wall, I spent my however old I turned in 8th grade, I spent my birthday at a track meet in Wall. So it's nice. These are 2 teams that even when I was in high school, growing up, even through junior high, those were always the Concho Valley teams that sparked in my mind. Wall is in District 2-3 Division 2. They are our number 18th ranked team. Houston Guy is the coach, and the thing about Wall is they had a very not normal year last year. They went 5-5. They got knocked out in by district. That is not normal Wall. I mean, the past 3 years it's been 9-3, 12-1, 8-4. So they've kind of been on that little bit of a downhill trend. But this is the year I think that we see Wall kind of start to bounce back and get back to what they always have been. They've got the flex bone offense, and like you said, they've got 8 starters returning on offense and 10 starting on defense. So that in and of itself, they were a very young team last year, kind of uncharacteristic, but I think that Wall will be a team that you will see start at 18 and continue to move their way up. our rankings as the year goes on. And then, of course, the other half of that being the punchers out of Mason in 14-2A Division 1. They have a strong senior class coming back. There's 6 returners on offense, 5 on defense. But the thing for me is Mason in realignment got put in gonna be honest, a pretty easy district, one that they should rightfully be at the top of, if I don't think that there's really anything. The thing about Mason and the thing that they've run into the past couple of years is that they're pretty small.
Yeah.
Not a lot of big players, but the small players that they do have are really fast.
Speedy, yeah.
So Mason being able to utilize their wide receivers, really get on the outside and try and play really honestly a game of long ball is going to be what they're going to try to do. And they've always had great speed, especially at the running back position. So I think if their lines can hold up long enough against some bigger teams in their district, they shouldn't have any issue making it. Now, playoffs gets a little bit different. They run into some tough competition there. But ultimately, I think that the two teams that you always look for will be back in the mix in both Wall and Mason heading into the 2022 season.
For sure. Now, here's my take on this storyline. I was, of course, doing my research on the Concho Valley, and I came across an article over Erie County, excuse me. There it is again. I messed it up again. Erie County. I'm going to get it down, I promise. I'm sorry, Amy. Anyways, they're typically a pretty good team. They make the playoffs quite a bit. They just haven't won a playoff game since 1971. Well, this year might be the year that Erie County wins a playoff game. They've got a heck of a amount of players coming back. They got a lot of depth at pretty much every position. If you can remember back to our players to watch, we had 2 of them from Erie County. We had quarterback Trayvon Koffel and his right-hand man, wide receiver Bo Morrow. Both of those guys are going to play an instrumental role in the job that Erie County will do this year. Now, that's the good news. Now, switching over to the bad news here.
Yeah, this is a gauntlet.
This is a gauntlet here. If they're good enough to make the playoffs, their first round, they're going to run into May.
Oof.
Yeah, and if you guys don't remember, May was the 1A Division II state champion runner-up 2021 and 2020. For 2 years in a row, this team is really good. May is the number 3 preseason ranked team in the state. And if they get past May, they're probably projecting they're probably going to have to play Jonesboro, which is the number 4
which is another big
the state. Yes. So all this to say, they're going to be an interesting team to watch because we know they're going to be good. We know they've got a lot of talent coming back, a lot of depth at those positions, but it's just going to be a matter of fact of who they get matched up with in the first round and if they're going to be good enough to beat them.
I was going to say it's big yay boo territory because yay playoffs boo two of the best teams in the state.
You can be undefeated all the way until that first playoff game, but it's like if you're going to get matched up with May, it's going to be real difficult.
You're bludgeoned for
So
punishment.
we'll see if they can win their first playoff game since 1971. Maybe they can break that streak here this season.
Just rough. It's a rough region.
Yeah, it is.
So there you go. New Year, same kind of focal points here. Moving on to our second storyline to follow, and that would be a district to watch. We've talked about them. We've heard Amy talk about them. We'll briefly go over this, but District 3 2A Division 1 is just intriguing for so many different reasons. We have Cristobal at the very top, picked to win the district. Like Amy said, she could also see Sonora. You have, 1A and 1B, and it's kind of like which one is it gonna be? It really just depends. You've got the preseason offensive MVP on one. You've got the preseason defensive MVP on one. We've kind of really hounded on that. They'll end up playing, but that is a lot of fun. And then you have Ozona. The Lions, a drop down from 3A. They're very, very fast. And so when you start getting into territories like that where you have a team that has a lot of depth on it and they're fast, they can run an up tempo, and honestly, they can just help wear people down. So an easy get on their part to be able to say, hey, we got a lot more guys that can keep running the ball. So that always plays a little bit of a factor. And then you have the Reagan County Owls, head coach Kyle Brown and what he's been doing. That's a really good defensive team. So ultimately, those are some of the top 2A Division 1 teams that we have, the fact that they're all in the same district and they're being paired up with a couple of 3A drop downs, I think that if you're looking for a really fun, smaller school district, District 3 and 2A Division 1 is exactly where you're going to want to go with that.
And when you look at this district as a whole, when you go team by team, each one of these teams is just getting better and better each year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, their records are just improving. There's not a team that's just kind of staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
Each one's improving throughout the year. So it's going to be a real fun district to watch this season.
It is. And then finally, our last storyline to follow here, and that is smallest classification, big competition. Of course, we're talking about 1A Division 1, but let's specifically talk about District 16. So the final district in the smallest UIL classification. Now, they do play 6-man ball, but we talked about number 15 in 1A Division 1 or 1A Division 2 rather, and that is the Rochelle Hornets. They have an insanely tough district, and it's not matched up with there are a couple other Concho Valley teams there, but it's really when you get outside of the Concho Valley, and I believe we have both of these in our Big Country section. I would have to go back and look.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But in this district, you have number 15 Rochelle Hornets. We picked them third in their district, and that might sound crazy, but the reason being is because they have number 4 Richland Springs. You may have heard of them. I don't care if you're a big school snob. You've heard of Richland Springs. Coach Jerry Burkhart, they made it to the state semifinal last year. They did not make it to state for the first time in a while, but one of the most winningest programs in UIL history.
I remember that game stuck out to me because it was played not at AT&T Stadium, because remember they had
last
some
time that
COVID
they won.
issues and stuff like that too. So it was, wasn't it? It was Richland Springs that didn't get to play. They played their state championship game.
They beat Balmorhea.
Yeah, they
lost to Balmorhea.
But they played their state championship game.
Yes.
Not at AT&T State. So that's the one that stuck out to me the most.
Yeah, that was in the 2020 COVID year, so they had to play it in January. Yeah, everything was weird. But that's when Coach Vance Jones got another one for him. Yeah. But so they have number 4 Richland Springs in their district. The second ranked team that we have in their district is number 10 in the Cherokee Indians. I know our buddy Jacob McDaniel is always saying that Cherokee's going to win state. He comes in literally every single day of the offseason and lets us know. But what Coach Zach White has been doing at Cherokee down there, a program that has really, really started to climb the ranks of 6-man football. So that's 16 1A Division 2. It's very, very, very small school football. Rochelle has an enrollment of 49 students. So
it's crazy to always look at those enrollments. It's wild.
Little bitty, but unbelievable competition between the 3 of those. So, yeah, the fact that the number 15 ranked team in 1A Division 2 is ranked 3rd in their district says a lot. So if you're in a small school 6-man ball, this 16 1A Division 2 has definitely got you covered.
Yeah, I was just going to say, too, Erie and County, when I was looking them up, they're close to like 100 kids for enrollment, which is pretty big. Well, that's why they got so much depth at every position. But
Yep.
Just had to mention that.
Yep. So there you go. The Concho Valley. Well, again, it was Brazos Valley last week. Over to the Concho Valley. I guess the only other valley we have is the Valley.
The RG, yeah.
The Rio Grande Valley. We'll get to them a little later on, but we very much appreciate Miss Amy McDaniel from the San Angelo Standard-Times joining us there. If you want to follow her on Twitter, I believe it's at WTX Scribe. So if you're down there and interested in that region of the state, you can make sure to follow her there. But again, we are Women Talking Football, WTF, with Ashley Pickle and Valerie Hartley. We will be here every single Thursday at 2, whether you want to watch us live on YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch or Facebook or TexasFootball.com or all of the places. Or if you want to subscribe to and listen as a podcast version so you don't have to look at our faces when we talk, you can do that on Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts. So we're all over the place.
That's the one I would choose.
What?
The podcast version.
Yeah. So you don't have to look at us.
You don't have to look at us. You can just hear what we have to say. Our greatness.
Exactly. That's it. Yo. that's going to do it for us. We'll see you next Thursday on WTF.